Think that intimacy meant romance, hugs, wonderful emotions, having somebody love and care for you and checking on you always. But when constant headaches, masked as migraines, intensified into excruciating, constant, 24/7 pain, diagnosed as IIH, idiopathic intracranial hypertension, a rare disease with no known cause. My suffering became indescribable as I, often in silence, bore it all seemingly alone. IIH is increased pressure in your skull caused by the buildup of excessive spinal fluid around the brain. Though not life-threatening, the symptoms of IIH may include permanent vision loss, double vision, blind spots, side vision loss, extremely painful and intense headaches, neck and shoulder pain, nausea, vomiting, insomnia, ringing in the air. Since 2021, 4.5 years now, IIH knocked on my door. Unpacked baggages of pain, depression, and suffering. An unwelcome permanent resident, and with it, life has never been the same. Several blood tests, eye tests, CAT scans, MRIs, and finally, the diagnosis, IIH. The words of my neurosurgeon echoed in my mind. And in that moment, everything around me changed and seemed to stand still. What is IIH? Questions like torrents rained down on my mind. Fear like stream gushed through my thoughts as I struggled to accept the diagnosis of this rare disease of unknown cause, little known treatment, and no cure. I felt as though I had just received a life sentence to pain and its associated sufferings, uncertain of what my future holds. Increasing levels and intensity of 24/7's pain, little to no help from medications, numbness set in. I no longer recognized the girl in the mirror. This was my new reality. I am slower now, miss out on friendships, relationships, suffer from short-term memory. I cancel plans. I lack the energy to smile as I used to make friends as easily as before, as once my warm and caring eyes screens unapproachable. Some nights in pain indescribable, under a dark cloud of depression, wanting it to end, moments when death appeals to me as my only escape, when tears dry up and purrs give way to pain, insomnia sets in. My body calls for sleep, but my brain won't permit it. When sleep eludes me and I start to break in desperation, I lie at my bedside and whisper, God, why me? will love me like this? Am I still favored? Of my suffering, a suffering you have to experience to understand. Loneliness sets in. There are moments I feel invisible to the world and to even my family. The silence hurts more than the pain. Over the years, I've become extremely depressed, flying under the radar, seemingly undetected by human eyes. But Satan saw my plight and sought to use my pain and circumstances against me. There were nights I knelt by my bedside and I begged God to take me because I didn't believe I could endure the pain anymore. And under duress of excruciating pain, I searched for help from others I trust to pray on my behalf, but I was chastised, criticized, and judged for being weak and faithless. Some have said, how can you go to church every Sabbath, be a singing minister, and have such little faith? They missed the opportunity to recognize my cry for help, my loneliness and suffering, and so it intensified my pain. But in the midst of my cry for help, with faith maybe even smaller than a mustard seed, something shifted. I don't know how, but something shifted, and in my weakest moment, I turned to God not just for healing, but for help to breathe through the pain, to find peace in the chaos, and to hold on when I wanted to give up. As the years went by, I gained strength from God. As your days, your strength shall be in measure, he assured me. I met two ladies seeking help with the same issue, and they now reach out to me for advice, for guidance, encouragement, and words of comfort. As I minister to these ladies, faith, hope, strength, and trust multiplied. And I no longer see this illness as a burden, but as a crucible. In the middle of all the pain, in the middle of the unanswered questions, Jesus never left. I began to hear him in the stillness, feel him in the tears, sense him beside me when nobody else seemed to care. With no known cause, no known cure, and little to no significant help from trial medications, I have done 2 spinal taps, a delicate medical procedure which involves pulling the excess fluid from the spine through the use of needles. This procedure has helped in giving months of release. Unfortunately, the relief is only temporary, and the pain returns with worse intensity. For both times, I saw God shining through my dark times by providing financial support for these very expensive procedures. I had no money to do it, but God sent strangers to my rescue, along with the help of my aunt, a few good family members and friends. I continue to pray and believe for permanent healing of this disease. Until then, yes, I still live with the condition, but now I live and suffer in hope. I still endure sleepless nights. There are days when the pain is so excruciating, I cry to God and tell him no more. Most days are extremely hard. I still have pain, limitations, and moments of discouragement. But through prayer, worship, the support of others, and using the singing talent God has given me, I press on. God's grace is now my daily medicine. His words remind me his strength is made perfect in my weakness, and that has become my truth. I'm learning to celebrate small victories, to rest when I need to, and to trust that even in my suffering, God is doing something greater. My faith has grown deeper. My perspective is slowly changing, and my heart has become more compassionate towards others who are walking through difficult and trying situations. I may still carry this illness in my body, but I am living proof that even in the valley, God is faithful. He may not have removed the thorn, but he has never left my side, and that for me is the real miracle. Today, no matter what you're going through, no matter how difficult, though it may not be as bad as my issue, or it may be even worse, I just want to tell you that God has not given up on you. Pray for me as I seek to find the funds to do another surgery, and I know that the same God who came through with the first two will make a way even when there seems to be no way. Because intimacy with Christ is real, not flashy, not loud, but deeply present. Like a friend who doesn't rush to fix you, he stays, he loves. We don't always understand why we struggle with seasons of silent waiting, but take comfort in knowing God does not forget his children. Trust in his hand to guide you to where you need to be, and remember, he is holding on to you with arms of compassion. God still cares. Amen.